Thank you for staying with us. It's time now to take a look at stories making headlines on the front page of Nigerian newspapers. And I begin with the Nigerian Tribune. The major story here, Delta Governor meets Tinubu, Akpabio, and HRC weigh in on killing of 17 military men. And the riders here say we never bargained for what happened. Oborevwori, killers of soldiers may be mercenaries, Akpabio is saying. Probe the killings, National Assembly tells armed forces. And HRC calls for prosecution of culprits. Now, troops rescue 16 kidnapped victims in Kaduna. Senate threatens to debit accounts of banks over unpaid 358 billion naira anchor borrowers loan. May summon former CBN governor on Ways and Means overdraft. Impeachment, Edo Assembly directs CJ to constitute panel to probe deputy governor. Some stories you find on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune. We'll move now to the Daily Independent. Delta killings. Oborevwori meets Tinubu, says situation now under control. And the riders there says confirms Embato's community now deserted completely. Mercenaries may be behind killing of 16 soldiers, says Akpabio, that's the Senate president. Okuoma community never killed any soldier, reps member. Says soldiers have burnt down community, killed many people. And another story here, Southeast violence, count me out. I suspect some people in government, says Nnamdi Kanu. He says he will restore peace in the region 2 minutes if released. And another story here, reps propose 5 months paid leave for mourning widows. Some stories you find on the front page of the Daily Independent. And we move now to the front page of the Nation newspaper. And the major story, soldiers killing, no one left in community, says governor. Reps, villagers fled into the bush. Oborevwori briefs Tinubu. Senate House probe attack. Now, 42,000 metric tons of grains being shared to state, says Agriculture Minister. And the top corner, Olakunle family for Ibadan throne, 160 years after. Umerji appointed Zenith Bank GMD. Edo Assembly asks CJ to raise panel on Shuaibu. Some stories you find on the front page of the Nation newspaper. To the Leadership newspaper now, still talking about the killing of 17 soldiers. Panic in Bayelsa as troops launch manhunt for killers. Diri Silva trade words over killings. There will be no further attacks, that the governor is saying. Killers may be mercenaries, says Senate President. Delta lawmakers beg military. Now, troops rescued 32 kidnapped victims in Kaduna, Katsina. And another story here, FAAC allocation increased by 23.56% in 1 year. NATI is saying as federal government, states, local government shared 10.143 trillion naira in 2023. And to the Vanguard newspaper, the major story is still talking about Delta killings. 3 suspects nabbed, moved to Army headquarters in Asaba. Senate is asking for a probing of the killings, calls for equipment of more policemen. Oborevwori briefs Tinubu, says there won't be further attacks. Notes situation under control. Clark condemns killings, urges military to exercise restraint. Investigate Delta killings, rep tasks military. Flags flown at half-mast as military begins 3-day mourning for slain soldiers. Civil society groups call for unbiased investigation. Rolak appeals against revenge, indiscriminate action on innocent civilians. Military moves swamp boogies to Okuoma. And another story, we didn't renovate government house with 18 billion naira. Adeleke is saying. Some stories on the front page of the Vanguard. To the New Telegraph are still talking about Okuoma. 17 officers, soldiers, killers, maybe mercenaries, says Akpabio. Senate probes killing, rejects minute silence for civilian casualties for now. That's the major story on the front page of the New Telegraph. And to the Matrix now, still talking about Okuoma killings. Fresh facts emerge. Community leaders say land dispute led to killing of soldiers in the community. Says families involved in the dispute highly placed, call for real investigation to unravel the truth. After meeting Tinubu, Oborevwori talk stops as killers of military personnel in Delta will be brought to book. Those are some of the stories you find there on the front page of the Matrix newspaper. And quickly to the Salient Times. Threat to national security set to probe killing of soldiers in Delta. Foreigners may be behind killing of soldiers in Delta, Akpabio is saying. And NUJ demands release of abducted Lagos journalist Segun Olatunji. And those are some of the stories on the front page of the Salient Times.
Yeah, the first is the first news here. I'll end Southeast insecurity in 2 weeks if released. Vows Nnamdi Kanu seeks transfer to Kuje prisons over alleged plot to kill him in DSS custody. Reps introduce bill for widowhood leave, 5-month mourning for widows, 4 weeks for widowers. Osimhen Awoniyi ruled out as Nigeria's camp opens for Ghana, Mali-friendly matches. CBN reverses restrictions on forex access for dairy imports. Putin warns NATO of World War III amid tensions. Slain soldiers, Diri condemns Silva's statements. Kyari urges differentiated energy transition for Africa. Next is this Nigeria. Produce details of 30 billion naira ways and means advances. Senate directs CBN passes 1.282 trillion naira FCT 2024 budget. NAS to National Assembly to probe murder of 16 soldiers in Delta community. Akpabio, I don't think killers from Niger Delta are from Niger Delta. Killing assault on security, stability of Niger Delta region. Lawan, reprisal, we are managing the tension, says Oborevwori. Nnamdi Kanu promises peace in southeast if out of DSS custody. Court refuses bail. Impeachment, Edo Assembly asks CJ to continue probe panel for Deputy Governor Shuaib. Next is the Punch newspaper. Reign of terror. 165 farmers killed in March. Farms deserted as bandits demand 3 billion naira. 130 farmers killed in 4 Benue local government. 130 farmers killed in 4 Benue local governments. 28 in Sokoto. Sorghum production falls by 90% in Borno. Benue farmers lose 1.1 billion naira to tax. Sokoto growers pay 3 billion naira ransoms. 5 million naira paid in Delta. The federal government names 15 terrorism financiers, BDCs, plans, action, or sanctions. Also, Delta bloodbath. Government meets Tinubu. National Assembly demands thorough probe. Abducted editor asthmatic. Family laments. Abducted editor asthmatic. Family laments. NUJ demands release. Parties infighting parallel primaries, wasting INEC resources. Yakubu. And above the masthead, 30 trillion naira loans. Senate uncovers fresh infractions. Summons Cardoso. Reps to quiz minister over $300 million malaria loan spending. Also, federal government, states, local governments shared 10 trillion naira allocations in 2023. 80. That's according to the Punch newspaper. Next is Blueprint newspaper. Be warned. Yakubu to parties on Edo, Ondo, Goba. Be warned. INEC will stick to timetable, March 24th deadline. 6 parties upload candidates' credentials, 5 days to go. IPAC new leadership pledges to partner INEC. The federal government begins distribution of 42,000 metric tons free grains to release 58,500 metric tons of rice to markets. I never supported violence in Southeast. Kanu says if granted bail, criminality will stop. Judge turns down plea. Shuaibu, Edo Assembly directs CJ to inaugurate pro panel. Nigeria loses $3 billion to solid minerals theft annually. Nigeria loses $3 billion to solid minerals theft annually. This is according to miners. Killers of military personnel may be foreign mercenaries. That's according to Akpabio. Also, 10 killed, 48 injured in lone trailer crash on Abuja-Kaduna Highway. And below the nameplate, Tinubu seeks reps approval for judicial officers' new salaries. Nwabali, Wobi, Bassi, early birds in Morocco. Next is the Daily Trust. Kano, Katsina, Sokoto, 4 others spend 28.3 billion naira on Ramadan feeding. Cleric calls for accountability. Children executed by Israeli forces in raid on Gaza hospital. Adaura emerges Zenith Bank's first female GMD. Now, INEC laments rising costs, disruptions from acrimonious primaries, waivers for defectors. Akpabio says Akpabio under fire for linking soldiers' killings to mercenaries. And then we'll see the infographics of the Kano Katsina Sokoto, 4 others spending 28 billion naira on Ramadan feeding in different places, different states. Next is the Platform Times. Federal government, states, local governments share 10.143 trillion naira in 2023. Naiti. Ogun Deputy Governor urges journalists to prioritize accuracy in reporting. Persons living with disability or disabilities urges Abiodun to approve disability bill for rights implementation. Killing of 16 soldiers. Delta Assembly appeals to military for mercy. FRS official accused of diverting public funds to private school. Witness testifies. Above the masthead, Nnamdi Kanu, release me. I'll bring peace to the southeast in 2 minutes. Bankole advises Ogun Speaker, the governor is not your boss. Next is the Nigerian News Direct. NPR, CRR hike, how MPC members voted to tighten monetary policy, ensure price stability. As increased inflation rate may trigger another hike in rates ahead of next meeting. Again, court denies Nnamdi Kanu of bail as IPOB leader alleges death plot in DSS custody. Speaker, family members using pseudonym companies to receive multi-billion contracts from Adeleke, Osun APC alleges. Impeachment saga, Edo Assembly orders CJ to set up 7-man panel, investigates petition against Deputy Governor. Oyetola commissions or inaugurate road project, boats to attract vessel traffic to One. Naira strengthens against the dollar, hits 1,583 to the dollar on official market. That's about it for the Nigerian News Direct. Next is the Business Times. Why Nigeria's inflation rate is on upward swing. Analysts. No more mining licenses without local value addition. Forced labor generates $236 billion illegal profits yearly. That's according to ILO. 11 discos got 273.34 billion naira funding for meter purchase. That's according to report. And federal government, states, local governments share 10.14 trillion naira in 2023. That's according to Naiti. Zenith Bank names Adaura Emerji as first female GMD CEO. Federal government to borrow $1 billion from World Bank for IDPs. SEC seeks partnership to build knowledge-driven capital markets. Next is the Guardian newspaper. Unlicensed digital lenders, loan sharks target poor citizens. Exploit violates privacy rights. Loan sharks target poor citizens. Exploit violate privacy rights. NASU, SANO strike leaves certificate applicant stranded. Banks show signs of illiquidity, borrow over 24 trillion naira from CBN less than 3 months. Criminalize importation of Adire Kampala fabrics, reps urges federal government. Again, Court refuses Kano bail over terrorism charges. Reprisal. Ijaw Youth Council raises the alarm over invasion, killing of 40 residents. Delta Governor briefs Tinubu on Okuoma killings. Man bags life jail for defiling neighbor's 11-year-old daughter. Nigeria's federating units shared 10.14 trillion naira in 2023. That's about it for the Guardian newspaper. Next is sporting. There's a Nation Sporting. 21 Eagles stars in camp. Eagles shine in first session. Very interesting stories here. Bayern sends final extension offer to Davies. Quite interesting. Quite jam-packed headlines there, but it looks quite illegible for me to read. But Nature News is next. FCTA allocates 26.6 billion naira for clean water and environment. NIMET forecast Kamek urges Nigerians to prepare for severe weather. Nigeria targets exploitation of 44 minerals for economic stability. ISDB allocates $125 million to facilitate Abia's integrated infrastructure development project. UN urges global unity in water and sanitation efforts. Mixed reactions trail demolition of Lekki shanties in Lagos. Space Research Agency debunks claim of 72 hours darkness over Earth. Gombe communities beg for water due to extreme heat. Nature Care, green onions and heart-related risks. Again, Space Research Agency debunks claims of 72 hours darkness over Earth. Interesting newspapers. Headlines this morning.
Absolutely.
This one saying 72 hours darkness over Earth. There's recurrent WhatsApp messages and they've been shared on WhatsApp, Facebook that your phone should be off certain amount of time. For a period of time because the Earth is going to witness some sort of darkness. I'm like, come on. When I saw this, this thing has been traveling for more than 5 years now.
Of course. But one that's interested or caught my attention is the matter of criminalizing the importation of adire, which is true. You see a particular brand of adire, it's different.
Yeah, on the Guardian newspaper.
From what you see out there on the original adire that we make in the country. It's different. It's just that it's cheap.
Yeah.
And so people go for that one as against the one produced in the country. If we could just have faith in our own,
that's right.
It would be good. It would be good. Nigerians should begin to look into having faith in their own products. Of course, we embrace it, but because of the cost. So if we can now begin to look at reducing cost of production, perhaps a lot of persons would turn to that.